Here is what President Trump can expect when he goes to the federal courthouse in Florida today. After the case is called, the solemnity and gravity of the process will begin. Mr. Trump will be called to the lectern and face a federal judge. The attorneys will make their appearance on the record. Mr. Trump will identify himself and he will take an oath to be truthful. Mr. Trump will provide basic background information and the judge will then inform him of his constitutional rights, including the right to remain silent, the right to an attorney, the right to a speedy trial. The next step is the first appearance. Here, it is likely that the government will give a summary of the indictment as it pertains to Mr. Trump. He will be told the charges he is facing, the maximum penalty for each count in the indictment along with the maximum fines and periods of supervised release associated with each count upon conviction. The maximum penalty Mr. Trump faces is 20 years, though the court will add up the penalties for each count to make him aware of his maximum potential exposure. After advising the ex-president of the charges he is facing, the court will inquire whether the parties are prepared to proceed with the arraignment and bail proceeding. Assuming the government is not moving to detain Mr. Trump, I would anticipate they would move forward with the arraignment. The arraignment is a straightforward process. Mr. Trump will plead not guilty to each and every count of the indictment. Note: a federal magistrate can only accept a not guilty plea, though in some jurisdictions they can tentatively accept a guilty plea with a recommendation that a district court judge accept their recommendation. Future dates. Immediately following the arraignment is normally a good time to discuss the dates for future proceedings. This process varies by jurisdiction. Some courts assign trial dates and preliminary dates there on the spot. Others will advise the parties that the court will be issuing a scheduling order later in the day or the next day. People may be surprised by a quick trial date. That is normal. The Speedy Trial Act requires cases be set for trial within 70 days. However, that time limit will be suspended upon the filing of any substantive motion. Also, and I would anticipate it here, cases of significant magnitude can be certified as complex and exempt from that 70-day limitation. The next step is the determination of bail. Mr. Trump will likely be released. I doubt the government would move to detain him. If they wanted to detain him, then the court could move forward with a detention hearing today or in the days ahead. But the interesting question will be what conditions will be placed upon the ex-president. Will he be required to surrender his passport? Will any limitation be placed upon his travel? Will the court impose a gag order? This is what I am interested to see. The last part of the summons process is processing. Mr. Trump, the former president, should be required to report to the United States Marshal's office to be fingerprinted, have his mugshot taken and booked, notwithstanding his release. Afterwards, he will likely be required to check in with his pretrial services officer who is tasked with monitoring his bail compliance. Though, considering his stature, this process may have already occurred. It's important to remember that the legal process can vary slightly based on jurisdiction and the specifics of each case. Stay tuned for more coverage. And please hit the like and subscribe buttons.